Victoria and welcome back. So today we're doing a true crime unsolved video. In the past I've done the Lizzie Borden house and the Axeman of New Orleans. We're going to keep with the axe theme this time and do the Villisca axe murder house. I've heard a lot about the Villisca axe murder house, however I don't know a lot of the gritty details, so I'm very excited to learn about it with you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other stuff. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that in the last video, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and get into the video. The Villisca axe murder house. It looks like this is a go inside and see video. I guess we're gonna find out about it during the going inside and seeing. I do want to give a shout out to Buzzfeed Unsolved for making these videos and making these amazing, lovely videos. I appreciate them and I appreciate everything that they do. Hey Ryan and Shane, if you're watching this, probably not, but if you are, hi! I love your videos. Keep making them. Please don't demonetize me, please. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead and go watch the original video in the comments below. It's going to be, their channel and everything's going to be in the comment or in the description below. So go ahead and watch that if you're interested. Let's go ahead and get into the Villisca axe murder house.
Well, we've been wanting to come here a long time.
Yeah, bit of a bucket list place, huh?
Yeah, I want to go
It's
too.
just when I actually cross the items off this bucket list, I'm not very excited. I am when I'm at home, imagining it, but now that I'm standing here looking at it.
Now you gotta be brave.
Yeah.
Do you remember how to do that?
No.
The Villisca axe murder house. Look, it's kind enough to remind us when the horrible event happened.
Yeah.
Grab a picture.
June 10th, 1912. Okay, so one thing people don't know much about me is that the year 1912, I have been absolutely fascinated with that year. For a long time, I wasn't sure why, and then I started looking up events that happened in 1912, and let me tell you, 1912 was not a good freaking year for anyone. This happened, I'm pretty sure there was a few other big murder cases that happened that year, and then, as we all are very much aware of, that's also the year the Titanic sank. And I have been obsessed with the Titanic. Okay, let me explain. Okay, I'm obsessed with the events that surround the Titanic. The real incident that went around the Titanic. Granted, there's a movie, yeah, James Cameron, Titanic, yeah, we get that. Rose, Jack, fun, cool. However, I do like that movie. That is I will say this, it's a really good, romance drama movie. However, I am more interested in knowing what actually happened during the Titanic and knowing the events that took place and everything like that. So I might do a video on the Titanic if you guys are really interested. I would love to do a video on the Titanic, but that's only if you guys are interested. If you don't want me to do it, I won't do it. I won't do it. I'm so sorry. I won't even bring it up if you guys don't want it. However, it's just it's weird that I'm obsessed with the year 1912. I don't know why. But let's go ahead and continue.
Picture, send a postcard to your parents.
Yeah. This is a supernatural thing? Well, I guess it's supposedly the murder house was supposed to be haunted. So I guess it's more of a true crime to me than actually supernatural, knowing what actually happened. But, okay.
This week on Buzzfeed Unsolved, we investigate the Villisca axe murder house as part of our ongoing investigation into the question, are ghosts real?
No.
Oh.
Yes.
It's
According
back.
to Shane, no.
A location voted one of the most terrifying places in America, this unassuming family home in Villisca, Iowa, was the setting for one of the most grisly, infamous, unsolved murders in American history.
So the ghoul boy is gonna show up and do that little dance.
Knowing absolutely nothing about this and having driven through Iowa, I'm terrified.
Because I
Oh.
don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe that Iowa is haunted.
Just as a whole,
He doesn't believe in ghosts, but he believes the state of Iowa is terrifying and haunted.
just as soon as you cross the state lines, you could have a hitchhiking ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I'm sure there's plenty of nice people in Iowa, but I'm from Illinois, so they can all go fuck themselves.
God, let's...
How many people are from Iowa? Probably not many. But if you are, is it really haunted? Is it haunted? Is it as haunted as he's saying it is?
Let's not bring up the...
Yeah, we got beef.
There's no reason to bring up the I-State turf war.
There's a lot of turf out there. Midwest turf wars, yeah, we don't like each other.
How many skulls have you claimed in this turf war?
Countless.
Oh, shit. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Built in 1868, this 3-bedroom house was purchased by local business owner Josiah B. Moore in 1903. Josiah, his wife, Sarah, and their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, lived in the small frame home located on 2nd Street and were the very picture of a perfect family. On June 9th,
It's no such thing as a perfect family.
1912, around 9:30 p.m.
So I was born June 2nd, so this took place obviously years before I was born, but a few days after.
The Moore family made their way
That
back
makes
home
sense.
after attending a
Whatever.
special service for children at the local church. The Moore family was joined by Lena and
Fun fact. My last name isn't Moore, but my grandmother's maiden name was Moore. Fun fact. But she's not from Iowa, so.
Ina Stillinger, who were friends of their eldest daughter and were sleeping over that night.
Aw,
Early the next morning,
Damn.
Mary Peckham,
that's sad. I'm so sorry for them. They picked the wrong night.
the Moore's neighbor, was up at 5 a.m. hanging laundry. By 7 a.m., she noticed that no one in the Moore home was awake and doing their usual daily chores. Mary recalled that something just felt off. The Moore's untended horses began neighing, so Mary walked over to the Moore home and knocked on their door. There was no answer. She attempted to open the door, but found it to be locked. Growing increasingly distressed, Mary called Josiah's brother Ross, and at 8:30 a.m. on the morning of June 10th, 1912, Ross Moore stepped inside his brother's family home to find the unthinkable.
Oh my gosh. Were they all murdered? That would make sense. Murder house, murder. Sorry.
This might be the door that the killer entered through, or at least some suspect that.
Wow.
And here we are.
Wow, that's a creaky door. That is a creaky door. I wonder if it was that creaky in 1912, because if it was, how the hell did someone get in and not be noticed?
Hi there. Well, this is the kitchen,
Oh, that was
and as you
creaky.
can see, everything is pretty much set as it would have been in 1912. All of the furniture is almost the same. This, for the most part, is what it looked like that night. Every
For the
footstep in
most
here
part.
shakes.
Even that thing, even this right here, this was here. Everything is the same. Every bit.
You know, just as a quick example, because it seems to really, if I just give a little...
Oh,
Which makes it kind of hard for me to believe that this guy could have
Yeah.
snuck around.
yeah. If it was as creaky and as loud as it is right now as they're filming this, how the hell did some guy sneak around and not be heard?
But he
Really?
did. Somehow.
Do you get bad
Ooh.
vibes?
Sedatives. I wonder if he met him earlier. Maybe they were at a local church event, right? Maybe someone from the church gave him sleeping sedatives and he came in.
Vibes from this place, right?
I mean, I don't love it. I don't love any of the places that we go through. But
'Cause you're
I
afraid
will
of
say
ghosts.
that this place in particular, because it's so small and such horrible things happen in such a small area, the
Mhm.
concentrated dread here is unlike most places we've been to.
Ross opened the door to the downstairs bedroom to find the lifeless and bloodied bodies of Lena and Ina Stillinger in bed. The local
They chose the wrong night to spend the night. Oh, poor girls.
Paper paints a gruesome picture of what Ross Moore beheld that fateful morning. Quote, their heads chopped open with an axe, a spectacle so repulsive that it was almost beyond comprehension that 6 more victims, murdered in identically the same fashion, lay in the 2 bedrooms upstairs. End quote.
Oh.
In just one night, 8 people had been systematically murdered with an axe, and not one person heard or saw a thing.
Yeah, that's so hard to believe. Because that was freaking creaky. I can't get over the fact that the floors were creaky. And the door that was the loudest door I've ever heard. Jesus. And then 8 people were killed. 8. And the 2 poor girls who didn't actually live there, that was just sleeping, spending the night, that one night. Oh, I'm so sorry for them.
Upon investigation, all 8 victims appear to have been killed in their sleep, with
That's
one
good.
exception. The only sign of struggle apparent was with Lena Stillinger. Her arm was arranged in a way that appeared she had tried to stop the attacker. She also had a small cut on that same arm to suggest that she may have been nicked by the axe. Strangely, investigators also discovered a 2-pound slab of raw bacon, carefully wrapped in a dish towel in the same room in which the Stillinger girls were found.
I'm sorry. What? You found bacon? Bacon? In the room? What was the killer gonna do? Cook him a breakfast the next morning? Man, I just killed all 8 of these people. You know, I'm in the mood for bacon. What?
Obviously, the fact that someone can commit heinous crimes like this is baffling to me, but the bacon just kind of tips it over the edge.
Yeah,
I just don't
so
understand it.
weird.
My thoughts are, it is someone who knows the family and they have some weird personal gripe that has to do with like a hall.
Oh, so this is kind of like the equivalent
Okay.
of like the horse head in the bed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or he missed breakfast.
Yeah, that was my thought. Breakfast.
This is the room that the Stillinger girls were killed in, and this is actually the first 2 bodies that were found.
I will say this, I'm very happy that hopefully they were all asleep when this happened and they didn't struggle, or not that they struggled, but they didn't feel it, hopefully it was just a one and done. As you guys know from the past, I think it's better if you are asleep and you don't know and you don't see it coming and you're just dead. If you're gonna die, it's the less painful and more humane way of dying. And I am happy to hear that 7 out of 8, at least, hopefully, were dead or were sleeping when they died. As for Lena, that poor girl, what'd they say? She was like 8, 9, 10, something like that? Oh. I feel bad for her. She didn't have to
Found
go through
by
that, but she did.
Mr. Moore's brother.
Well, they've sure got this place stocked up with spooky
With
toys.
the damn
That is
dolls.
true. They definitely cornered the market on creepy dolls.
Yeah.
Well, it's said that people feel very oppressive feelings in here. It's said to have split groups up. They'll start arguing with each other and stuff like that. I dare them to try and split us up.
Can't be done.
Can't be
We're
done.
Ghoul Brothers.
That's a bond that lasts forever. They also found the 2 pounds of bacon right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn on a device here that may help you speak with us. You could use the energy from this device to communicate. It's everyone's favorite tool. Say it with me. Here comes the Spirit Box. Okay, my name is Brian.
I'm Shane.
Can you say our names back to us? If there's something here with us right now, can you say Ryan or Shane?
What was that?
Right now I'm reaching out to whoever murdered in this house. Why did you do it?
All 8 of them? Oh, who murdered them?
Hey,
From what?
what did he say? I'm going to ask you again. Prove to me
Release
that it was
him
you
from
who
life.
did this, because I don't believe you.
Hey, you sick little weirdo. Huh?
I'm reaching out to Lena and Ina right now. I'm really sorry what happened to you happened to you. Can you tell me your names if you're here? Are you scared of us?
Who do you sweat?
Just said switch.
Switch? Oh, I'll hold it. You want to talk to me?
Here.
Oh, I've never held this thing before. I don't enjoy it. Talk to me. I don't respect you. That should rile you up. I think you suck. Ryan loves you. Big fan of your work.
That's not true.
Yeah,
Big
he's a
fan of your
sicko
work.
just like you.
That's not true.
I think you're a loser.
Jesus.
That thing sucks.
Almost 100 years later, in June 2009, one
Okay.
visitor visited the newly renovated home now owned by Darwin and Martha Lynn and attempted to make contact with the Stillinger girls in the very room in which their lives were shockingly cut short.
Okay.
The visitor called out to the girls, asking them to turn his flashlight off and on. They obliged every time,
Okay.
causing him to proclaim, quote, "I believe the spirits of all 8 victims still dwell within that house." End quote.
Well, they were horrendously murdered in the middle of the night, sleeping. And one of them, I'm pretty sure, woke up. I feel like they were like given sleep medicine, and Lena just didn't drink whatever what it was. Like they put, I'd say there was punch at this event. They drugged the punch, and then Lena just didn't drink any because she didn't want punch. She wanted water or something, so she drank water, and then she heard her sister get murdered because she didn't drink it. So she woke up and she was like, "Oh my god, you're killing my sister! Bye, get out of here!" Ah.
The mag light is hooey.
Why?
Because it's not, there's
Oh God, I think he blacked out.
no correlation. Even if the flashlight was turning on and off, you hear.
Okay, calm down, calm down.
Okay, I do feel like the flashlight thing. I feel like it can't. It's hard to use that as concrete evidence because, well, technically you can just do. I mean, when's a thing? I mean, in my opinion, the spirit box has more say than the flashlight because the flashlight, well, I mean, anything can happen. It's much easier to fake the flashlight.
There's nothing to back it up. There's
Yeah.
no science behind
there
it.
really
You could
isn't.
say nothing at all. They will turn on and off. Here's the best I can use here. We're sleeping in a tent. We
Okay.
hear hoof noises outside. We wake up in the morning and see hoof prints outside. And I say, there were horses here last night. And you say, yes, it was a unicorn. And I say, what? That's what's happening
Well,
here.
unicorns aren't real, and ghosts are real. Now, for me to really think there's
Nice.
something here, I'm going to need to see some intelligent responses on the actual flashlight I tell you to turn on. We're not just focusing on one.
Use something other than a flashlight, please. I mean, the flashlight is a start, but it's not the best concrete evidence you could probably have. Like, at all.
Flashlight.
We're looking for Morse code.
Morse
If
code.
there's something in here right now, please turn off the black one while turning on the blue one.
So we want to see them switch.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, no, not good enough.
You got to turn the black one off if you remember the instructions. That
Shane's over there like, okay, these are the instructions and you're missing your cue here. Get a mark, man.
That's what we were asking for. Let's turn off that black flashlight. Huh?
That's good. I like
Come on.
it. You really commanded.
Okay.
Just turn off that sexy little light.
Okay, too far.
Oh, wrong one. Boy, you're not good at following instructions,
No.
huh? Oh.
Oh, switching them now? You're going to switch it? Switch from the black to the blue right now.
Oh. No. No, you're teasing us tonight, huh? Come on.
Look, we've heard lots of reports that whatever's in here loves playing with these flashlights. And all I'm seeing right now is random activity. Okay, now we're at even.
Okay, baseline.
Turn the blue one, the one on the left, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blue one on now.
Turn on the blue one in 3, 2.
Too soon.
If we do it enough times, it'll be perfect.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna think that's real.
Yeah, that's so random. See, that's why I don't like the flashlights. It's too random.
Thing. I don't know, man. I think we're alone in this room right now.
Yeah, I'm saying this house has good vibes.
Maybe
See what
you
I'm
bring
saying?
in the good vibes. Maybe
I
you're
do
just...
bring good vibes. They're probably very happy that I'm not some dour ghost hunter coming in here being like, oh,
Sorry if you heard that.
it's an energy. You know, I'm coming in being like, let's party, folks. Except for the murderer. We do not want to party
Yeah.
with you.
No.
It may sound unimaginable now, but due to the heinous nature of these crimes and the fact that the town of Villisca only had 2,000 residents, the crime scene became a full-blown spectacle
That makes sense.
with upwards of 100 people touring the home, with the bodies
that makes
of the
sense.
8 victims still in it, even after
so
arriving
stupid.
to
Okay. Okay. They had me to begin with. They were like, okay, people, you know, huge murder, small town. People want to come in and out. They want to see the crime scene, whatever. Just not why the bodies are still there and you're still investigating the crime scene. That is so stupid. Do we need to go back to the Jean-Benet Ramsey case? I will bring that case up so many times if I need to. But do we have to go back to that freaking case? And how horrible that was just, oh.
to examine the scene. The town marshal went so far as to let the townspeople handle the axe.
Who is the town marshal? Oh my. What? Contaminating the murder
Utterly
weapon.
contaminating the
Yeah.
murder weapon left behind by the killer themselves.
There were fingerprints on that you could have gotten from, but yet you allowed people to pick up the murder.
Do you think this has anything to do with why this case is unsolved?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's unsolved because they just.
I think it has everything to do with it, Ryan.
I agree.
Well, step right up. Come here and see if you could do the same whack. Like,
You got me? Oh.
I can see how that can be a thing. I can see it. You know, you want to see, you know, strength, size, everything like that. But you do that not at the crime scene, not with the exact same murder weapon, maybe with a different axe with the same build, hammer, etc. Maybe the same axe, just not the same axe, if that makes sense. Like the same, like go down to the hardware store and get the same brand kind of thing. Like, and then go to the, you know, sheriff's office or whatever and do practice swings to see. I can see you doing that, just not at the crime scene, not with a whole bunch of people, probably with a minimized list of people, and absolutely not with the exact same weapon that was left behind at the crime.
Oh,
Wait a second, I was
This
smiling at
not
that one.
cute
Do
at
another
all,
one.
but still.
That's the town marshal.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Finally, at noon, about 3.5 hours after the bodies were found,
Mhm.
the Villisca National Guard arrived.
They arrived 3.5 hours later. Villisca, I'm pretty sure, is not that big of a town. And this was the Villisca National Guard. So this was the town's National Guard. What?
When they were finally able to secure the scene, authorities could
Took
then
them long
begin
enough.
investigations into who could have committed these 8 gruesome axe murders on a quiet Sunday night in a town the Iowa Touring Atlas called, quote, one of the finest cities in the state,
It ain't no finest anymore.
end quote. The motive for the murders was unclear, as there was no evidence of a robbery or any other reason why the Moore family would have been targeted.
Mafia.
Investigators found Josiah's pants hung on his and Sarah's bedpost, still containing cash, a check, and keys.
Okay.
They also found a huge gash in the wall of the parents' upstairs bedroom right above the mirror, now covered with clothing by the murderer.
So, I'm not too sure where the bed and this item, mirror, whatever, where this was in relation to the bed. But it is possible that, they've got the axe, they're going back. I'm pretty sure we talked about this in another video. Maybe the Amityville. I don't know. But where they took the axe, they swung it back, and they hit the they hit the wall behind them, and then came down. Meaning they would have had to straight back down. And that could have been this. As far as clothing covering the mirror, that's not uncommon, especially if you feel remorse or grief, or you just don't like your appearance. In other cases, there has been cases where the murderer or whoever's committing the crime puts clothing or covers the mirrors because they don't like their appearance, they feel remorse, they feel grief because of the crime. Mirrors are said to be a gateway to the other side, and so maybe they believed that was true and covered the mirror. It's not uncommon for that to happen.
It is believed this
Especially
mark was
not
made,
now.
quote, by the upswing of the axe.
Yeah,
End quote.
okay. So, yeah, they said it. The upswing of the axe, the going back.
Further evidence bears this out, as Josiah was the only victim killed with the sharp end of the axe.
So it's
All
probably
7
first.
others died by being bludgeoned with the blunt back edge of the axe.
This is the bedroom of Josiah and Sarah Moore. And it was here that there still is a mark from the axe from the upswing.
Yeah.
So you could only imagine the force that this dude
I need
was
them to
going
go
down.
back a little bit.
There is a dread to this room. Also,
Okay, well, I'm gonna use this for a minute. Over here is the bed. The upswing is up here. That murderer had to be pretty tall to get it all the way up there. Also, if I can see why the dad was the only one to be killed with the sharp end, because they wanted to make sure that, if you're murdering someone, not that you should, but if you're murdering someone, you want the father figure, the dad, the big guy, out first and fastest, especially if you're by yourself, because you want to get rid of the biggest threat first. And the easiest way to do that would be with the sharp end of the blade. And I'm assuming he did that and then turned it around and this was caused by the sharp end of the blade, turned around and hit the wife with the dull end. Probably wasn't much harder to do, but it would have, depending on how many times they were whacked in the head, the first blunt force probably would not have killed them, depending on... That would depend on how much force they had behind it and how much weight. There's a good chance that they survived the first one, but the second one, they had done it twice. They wouldn't have made it past the second one. However, I can see them doing that once with the father with a sharp end, just to get the thread out of the way.
so once again, sheet over the mirror.
Just straight up spooky.
There's something about this guy. There's I don't know if it's a vanity thing or he was ashamed of what he was doing, but he couldn't control himself. And it was in the girl's bedroom.
Okay,
It's been
so
everywhere.
So they did this in every bedroom. So yeah, there's a good chance that they probably felt maybe guilty about it. More than, I don't know. See, there's so many reasons that someone could a murderer could do that. I want to say he probably felt more remorse than he did guilt, but
Yeah. So I don't know what his deal is. Right now, I'm reaching
It could
out
be one of
to the spirit
many
of
reasons.
Josiah and Sarah Moore. First off, thank you for having us in your house. Really, genuinely sorry.
I'm gonna say it's not that bad of a house. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, for it being 1912, I mean that's not that bad of a house. It's a pretty decent house for
Or
1912.
what happened to you. If there's anything you'd like to let us know about that night, please reach out to us.
We're very non-judgmental. What?
Okay.
Sorry. Can you say that again?
While the voice I heard in this moment was not captured, an audio recorder left in this room later picked up a voice saying this. Is this the voice of the Villisca axe murderer?
Who's hearing me right now?
What is it?
Why did you do what you did?
Okay.
Strangely, all 8 of the victims' faces
Okay. Well, that hard to stop makes me think that okay, yeah, he probably did feel remorse then. I don't think he felt guilty. He might have afterwards, but I think he felt more remorse, and that's why he covered everything.
had been covered with clothing or bedding after being killed, and at some point, the murderer is also believed
Okay, that makes me believe he was guilty. Okay, now I'm feeling more of the guilty, because if you're feeling remorse from it, you're not gonna cover the faces. You're gonna look at what you did, and you're gonna, you're gonna be like, oh, I did that. But he covered their faces, which means he feels, in my opinion, which means he feels guilty that he did it, because he I mean, if that was correct, it's hard to stop. He probably didn't realize what he was doing, didn't want to do what he was doing, but he did it anyway because of some crazy reason. Saw what he did, covered their faces because he felt guilty, saw the mirror and was like, I just killed someone. I have to cover this. I can't do it. And
believed to have closed all the window curtains.
So
yeah, I mean, if you're murdering someone, you want the curtains closed so no one can see in and see you murdering someone.
obviously he couldn't have covered up those mirrors before he killed
He
them. Couldn't be
could've-
too loud.
If he was like sneaky.
Well, he's got to be sneaky in the first place. Was it rainy that night or anything? How loud is it in Iowa?
They're not wrong. When did the murderer put up the curtains on the mirror? Was it before or was it after? Either way, I mean, it still shows that he was feeling guilty for what he was doing or what he was about to do. But it does make a difference if he felt guilty afterwards, or he knew what he was doing and felt guilty before and understood what he was doing, or didn't understand and then felt guilty later.
Because to kill one person and not wake up another person, impressive. To kill 7 people
That's true.
and not even
I
wake
still
up
think
the
they
8th
were
one,
drugged.
how?
Among cigarette butts and bloody footprints, investigators also found food on the kitchen table from where the murderer had fixed themselves something to eat before exiting out the front
Bacon. I'm telling you, bacon, man.
door, locking it, and taking the key with him. Years later, the home's caretaker, Johnny Hauser, would have another encounter originating in the kitchen that
Cool.
would stop him in his tracks.
Okay.
Hauser, who has stated that he was very much a skeptic prior to working at the house,
That's what they all say. I'm a skeptic. And then something like this happens and they're like, oh, damn, I was wrong.
said, quote, I'm up in the kids' room, and I locked the kitchen door so nobody can walk in. And as
Okay.
I'm up there, somebody walks in the house, end quote. Hauser goes on to say he's so positive it's someone trespassing that he decides to pull a prank that will set them straight. So
Good
he
idea.
hides in the closet of the children's upstairs bedroom
Mhm.
and waits until, quote, finally he goes upstairs into the room I'm in. I kick the door open and scream.
Mhm.
Nothing. At all. Soon as I see there's nothing, it just sucked the air like I got the wind knocked out of me. End quote.
This is the children's room, obviously. This is where all the more children
Okay.
slept, and where they were sleeping the night of the awful tragedy, obviously. And it is unnerving to be sitting on this bed. Actually, kind of curious what this closet looked like to be hiding in here.
Yeah, what does that closet look like?
Nope, not doing that.
I'll go in there.
You can do it. Yeah, you do.
Ryan said, nope, not doing it.
Oh,
Is it
Oh.
awful?
there's more people in here.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
It's not that. That's actually.
I'm gonna
a
turn my
twist
light
to
out.
Me too. Oh, fuck me. You can make your presence be known. I can hear everything right now.
it. Mhm.
To the more children, I'm really sorry what happened to you happened to you.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like to say? I'm just here to help. Whoever's with me right now, can you tell me your name? Oh, shit!
Oh,
Shane?
what was that?
Is that you?
No, I'm in the closet,
Just chilling.
just chilling.
The fucking bed moved.
Oh.
Oh, shit! Is that you?
No, I didn't do shit.
I didn't see it move.
When should I come out of here?
No, maybe come out now. You can come out now.
Come out.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I didn't see the bed move.
What occurred?
Here, sit on the bed. Sit where I was sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of felt like this.
Oh, that's a ghost thing.
I thought somehow you kind of like bumped the wall because it's, this house is.
No, I was standing directly behind the door.
If that was you that moved the bed, can you please move it again? Because I would like my big tall friend here to experience it. Can you move that curtain off the mirror? That little towel, that little blanket? Is there anybody here with us in this room right now?
Oh. Kill who?
I'll kill him?
Sounded like Michael Rooker. He's not dead, is he?
No. As far as I know. Speak!
He did
Stop
not like
it. Do you want us to stop? It sounded like stop me.
Somebody stop me!
I don't think it's Jim Carrey.
Oh.
Stop you from what? Is there anything you want to say to us?
Huh?
What are your parents' names? I didn't really quite catch that. Could you say that again? Whose parents? What's your parents' names?
Have anything to tell us about the person who killed you? Did you see them?
I hope not. Something one? What did you see? Okay, I'm gonna turn it off.
You gotta love technology. Love the spirit box, love all that it gives us. What a wonderful gift.
I sense the sarcasm in your voice.
It sucks. It's a stupid piece of shit.
While some
So, from that little spirit box session, if that was the murderer, it seemed like it because it was like, stop me, help me, please. And this is a little out of left field, but could he have been possessed? I think it's more along the lines of schizophrenic than possessed. But it sounds like let's assume that was the murderer that was talking. He definitely has a psychological disorder. So I wonder if he maybe had something like personality disorder, schizophrenic disorder, something along those lines, that maybe he thought he didn't want to, but he did anyway, and that's why he covered the mirrors. That's why he covered his face. He didn't want to do it, but his mind was playing with him. So maybe that's what happened. His mind was playing with him. He had some sort of psychological disorder, and he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't understand it.
Investigation suggests the presence of the family in the house. Multiple others suggest that the house is haunted by the killer themselves. Investigators from the show Kindred Spirits picked up an EVP response to the question, "Did you do something to this family?" The response, "I killed them." A medium picked up the presence of the killer in the house, describing him as, quote, "giddy about what he was going to do," end quote, and that his favorite type of person was the type that was weak and easily manipulated, like, quote, "putty in his hands," end quote. So if the killer does indeed still reside in this house, how did he originally get in? What investigators hypothesize was that the murderer had gained access to the Moore family home by removing the screen of a first-floor window. However, evidence at the scene made this method of entry seem implausible in lieu of a far more terrifying theory.
Okay.
The murderer was most likely hiding in the Moore's attic, lying in wait, and holding Josiah Moore's own axe.
Well, well, well.
Interesting. I don't think, based off of what I've seen, with the mirrors covering the mirrors, the help me, I think the killer is still in the house. You know, the ghostly spirit of it. However, I don't think he liked what he did. Or maybe he did it first, but then realized it was wrong. He definitely felt guilty afterwards. Definitely, 100%. I don't think he was happy about it, though. I don't think he understood what was going on based off of everything. However, being in the attic with the axe, if that theory is true, he understood he had a job he had to do. He understood it as a job and knew how to go about doing it.
Oh, it's the big bad of the house. The attic.
I don't like
Oh,
attics.
wow. This may be the first
I don't
room
like
we've encountered
basements
that's
even
neither
more.
Ryan nor
Especially
Shane
scary
sized. I'm
ones.
going to move this awful little doll.
This
I
is
hate
concerning.
dolls.
Oh, that's nice. Nice that you look like a little king here.
Well,
King of the dolls.
This is actually probably where he sat.
How did they not see him in here? The room was. I guess maybe they would have like a bunch of stuff in here.
Yeah, why would they look in here? Do you check
Yeah,
every
why would
room
they?
in your house before you go to sleep?
Yes.
You don't strike me as that kind of a
I don't check my attic before. I probably should not be saying that on the internet. But I feel like most people don't check their attics before they go to sleep. I feel like just in general, most people don't.
cautious kind of guy.
They might check the rest of the house. Like, you know, the living room, bathroom, basement. Maybe not basement, but, you know what I mean. But, like,
I feel like you would just go to sleep with the windows and doors open.
You do what you do to make your girlfriend
this
feel
was
safe.
1912, so...
Well, there is...
There's a good chance that they didn't actually lock anything. This was 1912, so people were like... That was an era in time when people did... They felt safer than they do now. So, there's probably a good chance nothing was locked.
No real kind of mistaking who would be in here.
It's the stinker,
It's just you, and you know who you are.
Mr. Bad News.
Who's in here with us right now? What was that?
What's your name?
Why did you do what you did? I hear you enjoy it. Is that true? Why are you still here? What year is it? 18. What does that mean? I'm going to turn this off in 10 seconds. 10, 9, last chance to say anything. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
But perhaps no event indicating the killer's presence remaining in the house was more clear than what happened in 2014.
Okay.
On November 7th,
Was this? I wonder if this was filmed in 2018, because that would make sense. That would make sense, as they were like 18, 2018. No, it makes sense, right? That would make sense. However, when he asked the question, it was like, did you enjoy it? Did you like it? He said, I'm miserable. That further tells me that if that truly is the killer, it confirms to me a little more that there was psychological issues going on.
7th, the caretaker Johnny Hauser greeted that evening's overnight guests, a man in his 50s along with his elderly parents. Hauser noted that the man was carrying a large hunting knife on his belt. Hauser checked them in and then left for the night. The next morning, Hauser heard that the man, who was apparently in the house alone, had been stabbed in the downstairs bedroom the night before. The knife had been jabbed into his chest, and he laid in a pool of his own blood until he was found. The man's injuries were labeled as self-inflicted.
How do you know?
Miraculously, the man survived the attack and
Okay.
even returned to the home years later.
What'd
When
he
it
say?
came to explaining what actually happened that night, all the man could remember was going into the bedroom with the goal of provoking the spirits, and the next thing he knew, he was waking up in an emergency room.
So let's see if I end.
I'm pretty sure I've said this before in the past. Do not, under any circumstances, if you are going into a house like this, do not try and provoke the spirits. Whatever it is, whether spirits are real or not, do not try and provoke them, because you don't know what they're capable of. In this case, I think the guy had psychological issues, which in turn, in death, can makes them more apparent. However, if it was someone who was doing it out of pure spite because they loved murdering people, because they get joy from it, because they absolutely love it, you do not want to go into a house and provoke them. That does nothing but make you in danger of getting hurt and put you in danger of something even worse happening.
Up in a puddle of my own blood.
The caretaker noted that the first thing the man did was apologize to the house for his behavior. Hauser states that he didn't believe a ghost stabbed the man, but he does think that perhaps the house has a dangerous effect on people and their mental state while inside. Also of note, the axe used in the murders, originally owned by Josiah himself,
Don't tell me it was in
was
this.
found in this very room in which the stabbing occurred. And with that being said, we will now end our investigation individually, in the home alone, starting in the downstairs bedroom, just like the man who was supposedly attacked in 2014.
Okay. Was the axe in the room before or after? Like, was the axe in the room when he got to the room, or was it put there after? That's what I want to know.
Dude,
Thank you to all those people at the
After
bottom. who
5
made this.
years, a widespread effort failed to find any credible suspects. Hauser added, quote, "You got a murder in a small town with 5 years of gossip. Everyone in town at some point was a suspect." End quote.
Yeah.
Legal proceedings involving 3 different men were pursued, but no one was ever convicted of the horrifying crimes that befell the Moore family and the Stillinger girls. The Villisca axe murders remain one of the most infamous cold cases in American history. We will never know what took place in the Moore family home on that night in June 1912, which resulted in the loss of 8 innocent lives, or if the tragic victims of that gruesome and brutal crime still roam the residence they once called home over 100 years later. Whether the Villisca axe murder house is haunted by those who lost their lives that night,
I don't think
or if
it
the
is.
property itself was stained by the pure evil from the unspeakable acts perpetrated by an unknown murderer, will remain unsolved.
Okay, so there was a lot to unpack there. I think the most plausible thing I think that happened to them was maybe at the church event they ended up getting drugged somehow, so that way they couldn't hear anything. The murderer probably had some sort of psychological problem, issue, something like that, something psychological, or else some of that stuff wouldn't make sense if he didn't. I do think he didn't want to do it. He felt guilty, but something was telling him he had to. I think it's not possible that he was possessed. I really don't think that's possible. However, I do think he had some sort of psychological issue. What it was, I'm not too sure. I didn't meet the guy. But going based off of what little evidence there is here, I think it is 100% plausible that it did happen. So, it's 100% plausible that he did have something going on. That being said, let me know what you guys think happened in the comments below. Let me know if you agree, disagree, what you think. If you have any evidence, let me know. Please let me know. I love taking your advice. I love knowing more. And if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you'll know that I absolutely, positively love knowing more about these cases and knowing things that maybe they didn't tell me in these videos. And tell me what you guys want to see next, what you guys want to see me do. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.